This is it. This time I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. The weapon that choked Dr. Sykes' life was the katana. That much is for sure. Could help me prove her innocence. Weapon, you say? What weapon would that be exactly? Right, of course you would ask that. I can see you're floundering, Mr. White. Did you speak without thinking again, as always? How did you do that? I can't back down. Not here. Not now. That's right, I did. Because it's so honest it doesn't require any thought. What did you say? Okay, sorry, that was an exaggeration. There has to be something. Is there some other bladed weapon in the box lab that day? Maybe there's something in one of the crime scene photos. Wait a minute. There is something! There's a high probability that that was in the lab. I don't have that particular weapon here in evidence right now, but I do have a piece of evidence just like it. Other than the katana, this is another blade that may have been at the crime scene.
Take that!
But that's the motor weapon in the Clay Charon case. Yes, this is the knife that took Mr. Charon's life. But there must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this one are issued to Space Center employees. And robotics lab especially naturally have one of these around.
Objection!
Besides the katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. There's an investigating report, if you didn't know.
Objection!
Of course I knew that. But you told me just now. Then here's something else you already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene. It didn't contain any blades. There's a photo of its contents. Right, I don't see any kind of bladed tool. Fine. Isn't there something odd about the design on those handles? Therefore, there is no other bladed weapon in the room.
Objection!
I disagree. This toolkit contained a knife. What proof do you have of that? Don't tell me your eyes for art is failing you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You are the last person in the world who should be criticizing my aesthetic sense. Now, he is simply watching out for your molecular health. Please proceed, Mr. White. Notice that the handles of each of these tools have a sort of design on them. Ah, I see that they do. What significance does that have? It's clear that one of the tools is missing from this kit. If we rearrange the tools into a specific pattern, we might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing. Is that the theory your pitiful sense of authentic helped you come up with? Edgeworth, just let it go, man. Show me the court then, if you would. What pattern or design would we see if we were to rearrange the tools?
Take that!
And what design is this supposed to represent? The GAXA logo, Your Honor. It's on all of the Space Center's documents and pamphlets. As you're aware, GAXA is the program that operates the Cosmo Space Center. Look at how brightly the GAXA logo shines in the sunlight above the entryway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going. GAXA, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? I think I see it now. But yes, with just the truth shown in this photo. The red A part of the logo is missing. And this is where the mortar weapon from the Terran case comes into play. We were to place the utility knife in the open slot. It would complete the Gangster logo. So it would. Then that means... Admit it, Mr. Edgeworth. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours. And while you're at it, admit that the weapon Miss X used could have been this one. Ugh. Order in the court. Miss Sykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Admittedly, Miss Sykes most likely did stab someone, using the utility knife. However, the weapon used to kill Dr. Sykes was the katana. Therefore, the act of stabbing that Miss Sykes remembers couldn't be that of Dr. Sykes. Very well. Let's suppose for a moment that Miss Sykes did use that utility knife. Tell me, how does that change anything? Come again? What if the katana was only being used as a decoy to conceal the true mortal weapon? What if the real weapon that took the victim's life was the utility knife? You're ridiculous. Are you changing the premise of your entire argument? I'm merely offering a hypothetical situation derived from your logic. The Sykes could have put blood on the katana to make it look like the mortal weapon, and then concealed the knife on her person until Blackwell carried her away. It does clear up the contradiction between Miss Sykes' memories and the evidence. If in fact the mortal weapon is a utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand. You have just proven the knife's existence to the rest of us with your own logic.
Objection!
The prosecution is attempting to lead the court.
Objection!
You're the one attempting to lead the court, Mr. White. And forcing us to forget the facts of this case. I remind you that there were only 2 people in the lab at the time of the murder. That to defend herself because stabbing someone with her own hands. No. And that is not where the murder weapon was, a katana or a utility knife. As long as we know that the victim and the defendant were the only ones there. We cannot escape the fact that it was Athena Sykes who killed her own mother. I don't believe it. Why does this keep happening? Every time I find a contradiction, it vanishes and the suspicion keeps coming back. It's almost as if they are finally starting to get it. The contradictions keep dancing because the charge is true. And the suspicion keeps coming back to the defendant because that's where it belongs. It's right. When will you open your eyes and accept the truth? I don't want to believe it. It can't be true. But what if... Mr. White, you fought a good fight. I think you've done all you can do. Is giving up really the only option? No. Snap out of it, Phoenix. What's the matter with you? Giving in to doubt? I can't look back, for it is the only way to go. No, Your Honor, not yet. It isn't over yet. White. I can't lose sight of what's important. I believe in Athena, and I'll always believe in her, to the very end. The defense lawyer never gives up on his client. I have to pick myself up and stand firm. Make that brain of yours work, Phoenix. If I don't see a way, I'll just have to go back and look for one. Time to rethink this case thoroughly. I can see the fact that Athena must have stabbed someone with the utility knife. This must have been what Ponko witnessed as Athena's hug. Once you go back, I didn't see the knife at the scene. It seems that someone must have removed it from the lab before he arrived. Go take the utility knife from the lab. I trust in Athena. I have to conclude that there was a third person at the scene. According to Ponko's testimony, Athena and her mother were the only two there. How did the third person manage to escape Ponko's detection? No, this person must have proved Ponko's facial recognition feature by covering. Wait a minute, Ponko has a heartbeat detection system too. Covered their own face, Ponko would have still detected their presence. He wouldn't have been able to tell who they were. Wait, that's it. Ponko could have covered their face as which person to avoid detection. If Ponko posed as the victim, that'll explain why Ponko thought only she and Athena were there. What I had to do was take advantage of Ponko's basic recognition features, but to use this in order to pose as the victim. Ponko poses as the victim by wearing her jacket with the ID tag on it. That still leaves the heartbeat detection system. How did the culprit get around that? Who would have hoped that Ponko could detect the real Dr. Sykes' heartbeat too? So does that mean that the real Dr. Sykes was already dead at that time? So she did Athena stab. That's it. The person Athena stabbed wasn't Dr. Sykes. It was the person who murdered her and then pretended to be her. The real culprit. Now that Mr. White has finally finished thinking, let us bring this to a swift end. Please give us your verdict, Your Honor, so that we can move on to the hostage negotiations. You are absolutely right, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I hereby...
Objection!
I didn't say I was finished. I was only pausing for a second, because I realized something so shocking I had to take a break to digest it. But now I know for a fact that Miss Sykes is innocent. But Ponko saw me. She witnessed the moment of the crime. Yes, Ponko did witness something. She saw the hug. In other words, the moment you used the utility knife. But the person you stabbed wasn't your mother. What are you saying, Mr. White? The answer is simple. The person Miss Sykes stabbed was a third person, posing as Dr. Sykes. What?
Objection!
Expect us to swallow that, Mr. White. Control. The robot statements there was no third person there. Do you really think I wouldn't see through your ludicrous grab for time?
Objection!
After all we've been through, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm disappointed. Don't you know by now that this smile of mine means I have absolute confidence? That goes all the time, regardless of the facts. Ponko's strange malfunction. Mr. Taryn, you look pale, so I help you to the sick bay. Mr. Taryn, that's Apollo you're talking to. Oh, this hunk of junk here is mistaking Apollo for Clay. Maybe Apollo is possessed by Clay's ghost. There was another case of mistaken identity caused by a jammed ID tag. All because Clarko couldn't read Apollo's facial features due to that eye patch. And just as upset, a mask could notify the robot's facial recognition, and then all the person would have to do is wear a jacket with the victim's ID tag to pose as her.
Objection!
All the ridiculous theories. What good would a simple disguise like that do? Forgotten that the robot also has a heartbeat detection system? If there was a third person at the scene, the robot would have detected them. Sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. That doesn't count for much, I'm afraid. Because by that time, Dr. Sykes' heart had already stopped beating. What? So does that mean... Yes, Your Honor. The person Miss Sykes stabbed. This third person who is posing as Dr. Sykes is her mother's real killer. But that's... impossible! Mask? The person I stabbed was wearing a mask? Order! Order in the court! Miss Sykes, did you say something? Yes. I remember, Athena? What is it? I remember a man with a mask. How could he? What did he do to my mother? My head. Miss Sykes, are you alright? No! The Black Cyclops. They're breaking. It's all coming back to me. Everything that happened the day my mother was murdered. They're gone. The Black Cyclops are finally gone. You didn't really stab your mother, did you? It's alright, Athena. Just tell us what you saw that day. I was drawing a picture. When I was done, I went to show it to my mom. I opened the door, and then... It's alright. I'm right here. You're safe, Athena. She was on the floor by the workbench with the katana sticking out of her. There was a handkerchief over her face. I knew it was her by her clothes. And there was a man there. A man?
Hold it!
Quiet, Your Honor. Go on, Athena. He tried to attack me. In a panic, I grabbed the knife that was there and... he dodged at first, so I only got his clothes. But I tried again. And this time you got him, didn't you? I did. I remember it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand. Then he kicked me and I passed out. When I came to, my mom wasn't moving. I had to do something. I had to fix her, I thought. So I asked Ponko to move her to the operating table. Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her. So that's why she said that. Your Honor, as you can see, the defendant has just given us critical new testimony. A man was there before Miss Sykes arrived. A man who covered the victim's face and put on the victim's jacket. This man is the real culprit. Miss Sykes, do you have any idea who this man was? No, I'm afraid I don't. A few moments ago, Miss Sykes mentioned a mask. Athena, can you tell us anything else about that? Yes, the mask. It was my mother's Japanese theater mask. I think it was the one hanging on the wall of the lab. This mask hanging here on the wall. It was kind of spooky, that mask. My mom used to tell me that a Noah mask even has the power to turn an ordinary human being into a phantom. Phantom? It would seem that a new suspect has emerged, and that means that all suspicion against Dr. Sykes. Hold it! You see, this is precisely why I can't trust the court system. Athena Sykes is the murderer. I won't accept any other verdict. Miss Blackwell, this is not good. A new suspect. Where's the proof this person ever existed? Who says it wasn't all just a dream in the little princess's groggy little head? She's right. We don't have any hard evidence of the masked man's existence.
Objection!
Thank you, Mr. Wright. I'll never be able to repay you for all you've done. But I'm fine now, because I can say with certainty that I didn't kill my mother. Athena, I'm so glad for you. More and more memories are coming back now. So I'd like to say one thing if I could. Bonko came to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. to recharge. I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to recharge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis. And then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything. I see where you're going with this. Mommy Metis was really the killer in disguise. Right. Then he must have come to the robotics lab before 2 p.m. Do I have anything here in the evidence that can help me find this person who came to the lab before 2 p.m.?
Take that!
This is Prosecutor Blackwell leaving the scene after the incident around 3 p.m. What I'm wondering is, does the video show anyone else passing by there before then? I didn't see anything in the investigation report. It looks like they didn't check. Just as I thought. So if we rewind the footage and go back to around 2 p.m., we should be able to see the true culprit leaving the scene. Very well then, let's take a look. There. Please stop it right there. Just like you said, there's a man leaving the scene of the crime. Miss Sykes, do you remember this person? That's him. I'm sure of it. He's wearing my mother's jacket. I did. But when I really want to see was her jacket. That jacket on display. That was Dr. Sykes. You see it? That's the slash I made with the utility knife that day. And I'm sure that knife is under that jacket somewhere. So then, everything Miss Sykes said. Exactly. It proves that Miss Sykes' memory was correct. Dr. Sykes' killer arrived at the robotics lab before 2 p.m. He killed her and hit her face with a handkerchief. Then, he disguised himself with Dr. Sykes' jacket and mask that were there in the lab. The culprit probably knew beforehand that Ponko charges up at 2 p.m. every day. So he waited for Ponko to come to the lab for her regular recharge. By leaving Dr. Sykes' jacket on, the culprit tricked Ponko into thinking he was Dr. Sykes, thereby making it look like she was alive up to that point in time. Or to disguise the real time of death.
Objection!
nice theory, Mr. White, but I'm afraid it's just not possible. What? Why not? The victim's jacket is clearly visible right there in this video. And that right there is precisely the problem. The ID tag on the jacket at the scene confirms beyond doubt that it belonged to the victim. If the person who left the lab truly was wearing the victim's jacket, then how could it possibly have wound up back at the crime scene? What's going on? That doesn't make it sense. Edgeworth's right. If the culprit was wearing her jacket, how did it get back to the lab? The killer used the jacket as a disguise to make his escape. But in order to conceal that fact, he had to get the jacket back to the crime scene. So the culprit simply returned to the robotics lab later and planted it there. Contradiction resolved.
Objection!
Except that it would have been impossible. The only people who came to the robotics lab after the killer were Rescue Blackwell and the people who reported the body. And they claimed that the jacket was there when they arrived. So, what you propose, this mysterious man of yours had the chance to return the jacket? Puzzling question indeed. When did the culprit have the chance to bring the jacket back? The only time the culprit could have returned the jacket was when the body was found. Mr. White, do you realize the implication of that argument? I do. Most people, when they come across a motor, focus their attention on the body. The culprit could have taken advantage of that split second to plant the jacket. In other words, the true culprit of this case, the man known as the Phantom, was one of the first people to discover the body. I would never have thought of that. Order in the court. What is the meaning of this, Prosecutor Edgeworth? The body was discovered and reported by a group of 3 people. They were there to collect the space probes capsule in preparation for the Hatch 1 launch. One of these people had a special bag to transport the capsule in. Oh, you mean the shock-resistant bag? Correct. I suppose that the jacket was in that bag. It could have been returned to the scene of the crime without anyone noticing. I'll see to it that you get the reports on those 3 people. You will? You should also check the facial recognition database for that robot. This person felt the need to hide his face with the theater mask. It might mean that his facial data was once registered. Prosecutor Edgeworth? Does this mean? I have to admit, I believe Miss Sykes' memory to be credible. You were right. Not that this was ever an official trial, anyway. You might use to see me. Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you actually conceding? Is it true, boss? Does this mean I can't believe it. It's over. I won. I proved that both Athena and Prosecutor Blackwell are innocent. Your Honor, I see no need to further prolong this trial.
Objection!
Hold on, Mr. White. Have you forgotten who's in charge of this trial? That's right. I'm the one who's supposed to say I see no need to further prolong. Not you either, Your Honor. Now silence. The little princess who was truly beloved by Metis and who repaid that love with death. All these years, hating Athena was the only thing that's kept me going. What do I do now? Can anyone tell me how am I supposed to go on? Miss Blackwell. How unlike you, Aurora. Metis was deeply passionate about her work, and he chose you as her partner, isn't that? Shut up, Simon! You know exactly how I felt about her! Her respect as a co-worker wasn't all that I wanted. Then what did you want from her? Did you really just go there, Your Honor? Aurora, there's something I want to say, if you will lend me an ear. I have in my possession a lead on whose Metis' murderer is. You do? Wait, Donna, you asked me about the identity of the Phantom of 7 years past. That's right. The Phantom. The person Blackwell has been looking for, even from behind bars. 7 years ago, somebody hatched the plans to sabotage the Hat One rocket. The spy. But he was no ordinary spy. We know not about him. His background, appearance. We came to refer to him as the Phantom. At the time, I was working with the police to hunt him down. And then one day, a miracle occurred, and I obtained a lead on him. Oh, how exciting! What was the lead? The recording of the Phantom's voice. The recording was too poor for proper voice analysis. Yet I had hope. Erdo's co-worker was a scientist who could analyze human emotions. So I asked her to evaluate the recording using analytical psychology. That scientist was Dr. Sykes. Yes. I spy's greatest fear is to have his true identity discovered. In addition to Hat 1, Dr. Sykes' results and the recording were solely among his targets. The such of the space and bore no fruit. She must have started to panic. You couldn't find them? Where could they have been? Who is to say? But he's never let that out of his sight all these years. I wonder what did you smuggle them into prison? I have my ways. What's more, my partner is expressly tempted in that sort of thing. I worked to lure the Phantom in by spreading rumors throughout the underworld. I was even granted permission to prosecute cases to attract the Phantom's attention. Just try to retrieve your identity, you bloody butcher. Became my taunt. And what about the results architects drew up for you? Is there any useful information? Yeah, you can see for yourself. I'll take good care of it. That's all I have left of my mentor. I will. Better hold on to this really tight. Emotional output of this voice extremely weak compared to typical voices. Subject deemed to have unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation. No emotional fluctuation, huh? A spy who experiences no emotions. Not sadness, not anger, naturally no fear. He is the very definition of a phantom. A monster with no heart, don't you see? This creature's the what that destroyed our lives and set what ails us all into motion. The Phantom, indeed. A fitting name for the one who has brought darkness to our ward. Well then. It seems a faint image of this man has started to take shape. Based on what we have learned, I'd like all of you to conduct further investigation. This is not a formal trial, but I do want to follow protocol. If I may, I'd like to hand down my verdicts and bring these proceedings to an end. Whatever. Do what you want. You hear no objections from me? Yes, please, Your Honor. It's over. It's finally over. Very well. In that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, could you please take the stand? As a result of this trial, your innocence has been proven. The verdict handed down 7 years ago is hereby overturned. And now, the defendant of the current trial, Miss Athena Sykes. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. White, thank you. Thank you for everything. Athena, you're more than welcome. If everyone is ready, I will now give my verdict. Objection! You! Apollo? What is the meaning of this? Congratulations, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Edgeworth. You uncovered the truth from 7 years ago, and you saved Prosecutor Blackwell. However, I can't allow this trial to end just yet.